Alright, so we have a little bit of bedhead going on with this new short hair. It has been really difficult to figure out how to style it. I went to bed with my hair wet last night, and so it's a different shape than it has been. So bear with me as I figure out this new short hairstyle. So today's vlog I'm actually really excited about. I had this epiphany yesterday after coming home from the Harrisburg Art Fest. And I was like, you know what? I love going to events like this. Last weekend I went to the Scottish Highland Games at Fairhill, and then I also went to the Brandywine Spring Art Fest. And I was like, I love going to events like this. How cool would it be if someday, I'm gonna manifest this, I'm putting this out there, someday somebody like invited me to come, like the event organizers invited me to come and wanted me to showcase their events. But before that, why don't I just do my own event recaps, and then maybe that will help me manifest that dream someday for event organizers to actually invite me themselves. So let's put that out there. But I wanted to talk about these 3 awesome, incredible events that I went to and just how inspired I felt after going to them. So I'm gonna go in chronological order. Let's start with the Scottish Highland Games. So this was in Fairhill, Maryland. It was 2 Saturdays ago. It was such a blast. I have been going to this event since I was a kid, off and on throughout the years. I remembered one of the athletes from when I was a kid, and this was actually his last year in the games, and so it was really special to get to go. But I have not gone since the beginning of the pandemic. And so what this event is, for those who don't know, it has a little bit of everything. It has vendors that sell really cool stuff. Even though I'm a minimalist, I did buy something. I will insert this t-shirt I bought. It is actually a Dean Russo art piece on a t-shirt, and I saw this shirt when I first walked in the event. I started freaking out. I was like, look, 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 it's Dean Russo, that's his art. So that was really cool. They have so many like different vendors, some people selling t-shirts, some people selling super high quality like wool kilts. So it really goes through the gamut of different things. Some stuff was food, really yummy things that unfortunately I cannot eat because most of them have gluten in them, or onions or garlic or nightshades or any of the foods I can't eat. But I do remember when I was a kid, before I had all these food allergies, eating some of these like cakey things. Oh, they were so good. Then it had live music, and as we were leaving, we watched this band Albanock. In their band, it's so cool. They have a bagpipe, a didgeridoo, and then drums. So freaking cool. And then they also have dancing. So they have some dance competitions, and that was really fun. We kind of popped in and out of those performances and then warming up all day. And then they obviously have a ton of food vendors, which, like I said, could not eat any of them, but they had like haggis and all these like traditional foods, which was really cool. As we were sitting in the stands watching the actual athletes, I was getting whiffs of really good food. Even though I was wearing a mask, that's how pungent and incredibly smelling these foods were. I could smell them through my mask, and we were just watching people eat like little pies, and oh, they looked so good. So we also watched several bagpipe performances and bagpipe processions, where they just have a bunch of different kind of clans come through with their bagpipe performances and drums and different stuff. And also one of my favorite things was the sheepdog demonstrations, and we actually got to talk to the person who was doing them. They were so cool, and we got to meet the sheep. It was really awesome. So I think the person had like 4 or 5 sheep and then 2 dogs, and the demonstrations were just so fun. The person was so funny. It was a really good time. And then the main thing that we are there for is the athletes. And so a lot of the different things are just so unique to the Scottish Games. So one is called a caber toss, which is literally a tree where they have, it's like the middle part of the tree where they have cut off the limbs. And then these athletes, which included one woman, thank you very much, literally grab them and then balance them and then toss them end over end. It was incredible. It's like so awesome to see. They also have like a throw. So they have this I think it's like a 25-pound weight, and then they try to spin around and throw it as far as they possibly can. Some of my favorites are, I think it's called a sheaf toss, which is a big bag of, I don't know, barley or something. It's like 25 or 50 pounds in there. They take a pitchfork, they stab it in this bag, and then they'll like spin around and try to throw it as high as they can. So they have this massive ladder with different things coming out that they can adjust, and then they try to get it as high as they can, and then whichever athlete gets it the highest wins. All the athletes are the same throughout the whole thing, and then there's one athlete who wins like overall, I think, as well, with the most points. Also, they have one where that same distance throw with the 25-pound weight or 50-pound weight, they also try to throw it as high as they can too. So those were the ones we were there for. I think they had a couple other events in the morning that we missed, but that was what we were getting to see, and it was just so much fun. So highly recommend if you're in the area. It is so fun to see everybody in their kilts and dressing up. Some people were kind of in Renaissance clothes too, so that was a blast. Now, let me move on to the next event. Okay, so the next day, and I'm on Cephalexin right now, so that's why I was able to go to these two events that were on back-to-back days. The next day, my mom and I went to the Brandywine Spring Art Fest, which I think was the first year that they did a spring one. I always go in the fall, or I try to go in the fall, because it's just, oh my gosh, it's so beautiful. And something I want to talk about with this and the Harrisburg Art Fest is that it's almost like getting to go to a museum to see all of this art, but you also get to meet the artists usually. Such a collage of different artists with different styles all in the same place. It's really incredible, and I feel so inspired after going to these types of events. So this was the first time they had it in the spring, but I think they had like 150 vendors. It was incredible. We literally ran out of time because we probably got there around 1 and it closed around 4, and we did not get around to all of the vendors. That is how incredible this was. The first thing we saw were the rescues. So they had a puppy rescue, and they had really cute puppies there and different dogs. So we spent some time petting them. And then they also had alpacas, which was so fun. And obviously I needed to hang out with them as well. And dogs were welcome. So throughout the event, there were just so many fun dogs to see. And then, yeah, we saw some vendors and artists who we've seen before. One of them is Rachel. She has incredible art. Actually, I didn't even like stage this or anything. This is one of her art pieces. It's a sticker of one of her paintings, which I thought this was a photograph, but no, it is literally a painting. And so yeah, on each of my water bottles, I actually have one of her stickers. I just love her stuff. So definitely really cool seeing her. We met an artist who had studied under Mitch Lyons, who was a clay printer that my dad actually took some classes with, and that was really cool. I bought one of her pieces as well. I'll insert a picture here. And there were just so many incredible artists. A lot of them I'd never seen before. One of them was a photographer who I think I'd seen at maybe the Fairhill Art Festival I went to last fall. Rachel was actually, that's where I met her. And his art was so cool. He takes a lot of photos at Fairhill. So I bought 2 photographs of his that he'd taken at Fairhill. I knew the exact bridge. Any of my local people, see if you know where this bridge is. He took a picture of this covered bridge that I love. And then the scenic overlook, which is on top of kind of the side of a hill. And you have to go down this little winding stone path, and then there are these massive rocks that overlook the valley. I knew that exact place as well, and I just, yeah, I spent a lot of time talking to him, so I bought those 2 art pieces, and the prices were amazing. I think it was 2 for $30 and the other one was maybe $25. So I was like, yes, this is amazing. There were also so many other pieces I really wanted to buy, but I'm a minimalist and I had already bought enough art for that day. So yeah, that was incredible. We also saw one of my friends, Alan, who had an awesome wood booth there. I'll insert his information there. We didn't get to stop and talk to him because he was so busy. He had customers there the whole time, which is really cool. And then the final event was the Harrisburg Art Festival, which I just went to yesterday, and Harrisburg is quite far from me. It was an hour and a half one way, but it was so much fun. Shout out to my dad for driving me since I am unable to drive right now because my brain fog. Here's baby. She's been on my lap the whole time. It was so much fun. We went because my friend Michelle was an artist there. We had done some brainstorming leading up to the event about like her booth and her written materials and stuff, and so I really wanted to go see her booth and what she had. She had amazing stuff. So I purchased a magnet, a clay magnet that just really really spoke to me as an affirmation. And then I purchased for my mom 3 beeswax candles. And oh my gosh, I will insert all Michelle's information here. She had prints. She's actually given me gifts of a lot of her pieces, so I will insert those pictures as well. I have one of her prints. I actually have several of her magnets, some kitties and some other affirmation magnets as well. She also gave me some of her honey, and I love her honey so much from her own bees. So yeah, her pieces are just so incredible. She also just learned how to do plaster this last week, and she had some incredible plaster pieces there as well, and it was just incredible. So it was amazing to see her. I actually never met her in person because we live so far apart. This was my first time seeing her in person, which was amazing. I actually made her a fern watercolor. I'll insert like the time-lapse video here. I'm gonna put this on my socials as well, because this was the first time I learned I figured out how to time-lapse using my phone, just because the whole like lighting situation and then trying to figure out a good way to kind of place it in like a tripod or a stand to capture my watercolor time-lapse was really hard for me to figure out for some reason. And so finally I was able to figure it out with this piece, and I think I'll try to do this a lot more going forward, because it's really cool to just see over time how a piece evolves. So I gave her that watercolor, which was really fun. And then we walked around the event and it was amazing. Oh my gosh, there was like more than 170 juried vendors. What I got for myself is this labradorite, you can see it hitting the light, choker. I have been looking for so long for a really minimalist, this is the choker I wear all the time, but a minimalist necklace that feels just like natural on my skin. And this is a cotton cord with wax, so it's waterproof. I can wear it in the shower, and that was the other thing I was looking for, was just not having to take it off. And then a labradorite, which is such a good stone of like protection and guidance. And so I was ecstatic to find this. The vendor was actually right across from Michelle, and Michelle knew her and had one of these necklaces, a very similar one. And so I was like, that's all I need to know, that she had worn it, I think she said for like a year or something straight. And she was like, oh, and I love, you know, my friend who makes these. And so I was like, all right, amazing. So this is the only thing I got for myself. We actually did get several food items. I got a white peach and lavender tea. Whenever anything is lavender, I need to try it. I love lavender so much. Oh my gosh, speaking of Appalachian Botanical Companies, one of my friends, she has a lavender company, so go check out her lavender products. But yeah, my lavender obsession continues. So anyway, I tried that tea. It was very sweet. I am not used to like very sweet things. I tend to eat just like dark chocolate as my dessert, and it was a lot. So I was on a buzz. I was on a sugar high for a lot of it. But yeah, I was wearing a mask the whole time, and I would just like hold my breath and take the mask off to get a sip. And that was really good. And then we got some cinnamon pecans, which were so good. Again, very sweet, but you could smell them from so far away, and we were kind of getting really hungry because we got there at, I don't know, maybe 1 and stayed till 6:30, something like that. So we were there for a long time, and so having just eaten breakfast and that was all, like we kind of wanted some food. So that was amazing. And then we found a cheese vendor that was a woman owned, and they were gluten-free cheeses, and some of them didn't have onions or garlic. And so I got to taste test them there, and I brought 2 home. One was a blue cheese, which I actually ate a hamburger while I was there. I had that blue cheese on the hamburger, and it was so good. And then I tried like an almond, oh, what was the other one called? It was an almond something cheese, and it was so good, baby. And so yeah, I came home with some new cheeses, because cheese spreads is actually one of my main go-to snacks. Really grateful I got to go and experience that event, and it was right along the Susquehanna River. Incredible. It's a 3-day event, so I will definitely be back to these events in the future. Organizers, if you want me to do like a real recap with just your event and talk about specific things that I get to experience at the event, let me know, because I would love to do that. But yeah, it was so much fun. I think the biggest thing is that going to these art events make me feel inspired. Like maybe I could do this with my watercolors someday, get my art out there and get feedback from people. I just feel so inspired as an artist to go to these events. So thank you for watching, my friends. I hope you feel inspired to go check out some of these events. What event should I check out next, and what event should I recap next? And if you know any of the event organizers, please connect me with them, send them this video, and I will talk to you all soon, my friends. Bye.